Welcome to Golf Smarter Mulligans, your second chance to gain insight and advice from the best instructors featured on the Golf Smarter podcast. Great golf instruction never gets old. Our interview library features hundreds of hours of game improvement conversations like this that are no longer available in any podcast app.
I definitely, the first couple days, thought, okay, I'm going to stay as patient as I can. I don't want to try and get myself in a position where I'm a lot over par real early. So I'm going to play to the right spots and trust that if you do miss a shot, if it comes off a foot short or 2 feet to the right and it's in the rough, that you trust your short game because you're in the right spot. You just try and stay patient. Definitely tried to do that the first couple days. And then day 3, I think I may have changed a little bit. And that, okay, I'm 3 over par, I'm a few shots back. Let's see if we can actually play a good round. I started thinking more about, instead of thinking about the process, thinking about, okay, let's play a whole good round of golf together and see what could happen. So you're thinking too much about the end result. You get a few over par early and you want to try and get it back instead of just accepting that you're 4 over par in the U.S. Open and probably not going to get too many back, but if you can stay there, it's still not a bad round. You focus on the end instead of focus on what you're doing in the moment.
With another interview from the archives of Golf Smarter, here's your host, Fred Green.
Our guest today is Jason Preeo. I'm sure that most of the time when I say a name of one of our guests, you do the little puppy dog head tilt, like, huh? What? Well, Jason Preeo is a name that you can use to win trivia contests with at the 19th hole. Come on. Go ahead, guys. Tell me who Jason Preeo is and when he made the cut, right? Well, he tells the whole story, whole entertaining story today, and drops some big names too. So let's just get to it. Welcome to the Golf Smarter podcast, Jason.
Hey, Fred. How are you? Thanks for having me.
Oh, yeah, I'm so happy to have you on the show. You are just my favorite story of the month right now.
Yeah, if you say so. It's kind of like Mr. Irrelevant for the NFL draft, I think.
But you're not irrelevant to your family, and congratulations,
oh, sure.
There's new family, right?
Yes, there is. Yeah, boy number 2 just came, 2 days ago now. So, yeah.
I mean, like, I love it. I got an email this morning going, is it okay if we push the interview back a little bit? I'm bringing a new baby home today.
That's right. Yeah.
Phenomenal.
Just a few hours.
Well, your Father's Day will always be, I hope, great memories for you for the rest of your life.
It's a Father's Day, and I think they're all fairly special. But that one was at least unique in that you're finishing up at the U.S. Open. Unfortunately, my older son wasn't able to be there because my wife was so far along. So yeah, Father's Day for me really was the next day, the Monday when I got home and got to see him.
And a lot of your Father's Day was a lot of hard work, huh?
Well, yeah, a little too much hard work, unfortunately.
Let's start at the beginning. This is such a great story. Please start at the beginning. How did you get the opportunity to play in this year's U.S. Open?
Just through the local and the sectional qualifier here in Colorado. So
how does that work? I don't even know that process.
There are, I don't even know, probably 100 local sites that the USGA has throughout the country. Basically, they're all 80, 85 guys for 4 or 5 spots to get through to like a second round of qualifying. So you've got to finish in the top 5 there as a ballpark for you. And then you have 14 sectional qualifiers throughout the country where anywhere from, there's tour sites with 100 guys there, where there's our local site had about 30, and you just had to be one of the top 2 guys, and you were in. So three pretty good rounds of golf, and you got to play in the U.S. Open.
And so you had what? So how many regional qualifiers make it to the U.S. Open?
That's a good question. I think there were, I want to say 75 of the participants weren't exempt, so they had to qualify in some manner or another. I think there were, where did I see it somewhere, 24 guys that qualified for the U.S. Open who made it through both the local and the sectional qualifier, the regional qualifier.
So when play started on Thursday at Pebble Beach, there were approximately 24, 25 guys that were just being blessed by getting the opportunity to play. They're not touring pros. They're just local winners.
It's even hard to say because I know a guy like Eric Compton who's played 7 or 8 tour events had to go through both stages. So
Oh, wow.
it's open to everybody, but you have to have a certain amount of status and wherever your position is in the world rankings and FedEx Cup points, money list, all those things kind of play a role in how you qualify or where you have to start. So kind of like Q School, where some people start at pre-qualifying, some people are exempt into the finals. You just different for everybody.
And where did you rank? How had you done previously to this? What was your history that got you to this point?
Well, there was none. I mean, I was kind of basically starting at the bottom of the barrel where everybody else would start. I had been to the sectional qualifier 3 times. I guess that this is my 3rd time in the last 4 years. But yeah, just starting at the beginning, like any amateur or up and coming pro who had never played before. So not much preferential treatment for somebody who is teaching for a living.
And you're not just teaching golf, are you?
Basically golf instruction and then also coaching a high school team out here. So that's about it.
And
playing a little bit.
And did your high school team they get all crazy about this and have T-shirts made and look like they were on the set of American Idol?
No, they're fairly low key. I mean, a few of the guys are obviously a little bit excited, but
a little bit excited. I'm more excited than they are.
Yeah, you're probably more excited than I am, I would say. It's just I got a little bit of grief for saying it was just a golf tournament. Once I got there, you realize it's a pretty big golf tournament, but it's it works just like any other one. You put the tee in the ground the first day, and you add up your strokes at the end of the day. It's just a different atmosphere and a little different golf course.
Dude, you can't downplay it like that. This is the U.S. Open. This is the premier event. The best players from around the world are scratching and clawing their way to play this event.
Well, that's true.
Yeah, so what? So, how was practice? How was it when you got there? What happened?
Let's see. I got there Sunday afternoon and just, basically trying to get there and get familiar with the surroundings and everything else, see how it worked. And ended up the range was about a 10-minute shuttle ride from the first tee and the putting green. So you're just trying to get your bearings of how all that stuff works and then kind of get a feel for where's the locker room, where they had player hospitality areas, where the shuttles were, all that kind of stuff. So just got a bearing for that. And then first practice round on Monday, I actually signed up to play with Nick Watney, who I knew a little bit from coaching in college and playing just a little bit. So I played with him, and then another guy ended up in the group who I played a lot with in college, and Ben Crane. So I've had a couple guys that I knew a little bit just to keep me maybe a little bit more comfortable that first day. But got on the first tee box, and Butch Harmon is Nick's coach, and then was playing with Eric Compton as well, and Jim McLean was there. So we're playing the first practice round with all those guys walking around. So
nice.
Kind of fun experiences, yeah.
So, but you didn't have a coach with you.
Absolutely not. Yeah, no. I'm stuck with me for better or worse. So.
And as you're standing there playing, there's Butch Harmon standing to your side, shaking his head while you're swinging the club, or did he?
Yeah, no, he. I was teeing the ball up on the second hole, and I slipped a little bit, and he's like, "Come on, don't be nervous today. It's Tuesday, or it's Monday. Not even Thursday yet." But no, we were talking. We had a good buddy who was real good friends with Nick. That he's fun. He's a really good guy, but fun to make fun of. So we talked about him a little bit. Just kind of normal guys walking down the fairway. They don't make you feel uneasy or anything like that.
Had you ever played at Pebble Beach before?
Once when I want to say I was 18, a little different environment. So.
Yeah. And what was the circumstances for that?
That was, we were so lucky growing up with the Northern California Junior Golf Association. They had their Tournament of Champions there at the Pebble Beach the day after Christmas every year. So happened to win a couple times after my senior year in high school. And still got to go that winter, so it was pretty neat.
And how did you shoot
the whole bit
that first time you played?
I think I shot 77, so would have loved that the last couple of rounds.
Yeah, Right, exactly. We'll get into your scores as we
Yeah,
progress
there you
through
go.
the week. So now you've played your first practice round, and
Yep.
and then so as the week progressed, you've got what happens Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday before tournament play begins.
That's a lot of practice for me. So I tried not to wear myself out. I usually get about 20 minutes before I go play in a Pro-Am or a small little tournament out this way. So to get 3 days, I wanted to make sure I just kind of enjoyed the moment and didn't practice enough to feel like I was prepared but not wear myself out. So I ended up playing 18 holes all 3 days. But on Tuesday, it was really neat. I kind of had the last tee time of the day, basically, and I would say at least the last 9 holes, maybe even a few more, I was basically the only person out on the golf course.
Oh,
I'm out there walking with my caddy, and my folks were there and a couple buddies, but that was basically it. So we're walking around Pebble Beach, and a lot of the spectators had gone home, or they weren't going to bug me because they didn't know who I was, and just walking around playing all by yourself. So that was pretty neat.
oh
The worst
yeah.
part of that was we got done at the end of the day, and I don't think the USGA knew anybody was left out on the golf course, so we were stuck waiting for a shuttle for about 15 minutes, but well worth the wait.
Oh, poor baby.
That's right.
Big deal. You're still at Pebble Beach. How was the weather
Exactly.
throughout the during your practice? Did it give you a good example of what the weekend weather was going to be like?
Yeah, nothing really changed. The greens were fairly firm Monday through Wednesday, but the weather was almost identical. I mean, it 60 to 65 degrees, kind of typical Monterey weather with a little bit of wind. And you're either in kind of like an undershirt or a long sleeve undershirt or a sweater or pullover every day, but then once you get in the middle of the round, you kind of get warmed up a little bit. You may take that off, but there was nothing that the wind just suddenly started blowing 40 or 50 one of the days, so something you'd never seen before. So everything kind of played out how it should. And I think USGA doesn't have much control over that, but I'm sure they were fairly happy that it stayed.
Oh yeah, I bet
Stayed calm enough for us. Yeah.
Yeah. What about your caddy? Did you bring somebody with you, or did they assign someone?
Yeah, I did. I actually brought one of my fellow instructors over at Metagolf. Had caddied for me the local qualifying, and then the 2 rounds of sectional. So we ended up having him come on over. The only time he had ever been to California was down in San Diego. So he had never been to Northern California. Grew up in a small town in South Dakota. So he came out with me and just kind of wanted to see Pebble Beach. And first couple of days of practice rounds, he was taking more pictures more than he was cleaning clubs. So that's kind of how it goes.
And it's not like you can yell at him, right?
No, exactly.
Hey, pay attention to me.
He was not that type, and he was a lot cheaper than somebody else would have been. So worked out real well.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Now, did you also have a camera in your bag to take a lot of pictures yourself? Or?
You know what? I actually didn't even take a camera. My folks were going to be there. I knew I had a couple buddies who were there, so it's kind of the same thing as if you're in awe of the situation, you're probably not going to be there to kind of take care of your business and perform the way you want. There were a couple of my wife's friends that asked her if I got a bunch of autographs, and she just kind of chuckled. I think that's kind of like admitting defeat before you even tee it up if you're just sitting there walking around trying to get everybody's autograph and feeling like you can compete and go out there and play. So
I would think
I did want to try and treat it like a golf tournament. Just go from there.
Right. I would think that it wouldn't be too cool to be going like, "Hi, Mr. Woods, can I have your autograph, please? I'm teeing off right behind you."
Yeah, it might have been fun to say, "Hey, Tiger, I beat you today. Can you still sign my shoes or my hat or something?" But
or just kiss my butt.
Wouldn't have had the guts to do that. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you'd like to have said, "Hey, kiss my butt. I beat you today."
Yeah. Yeah. Well, problem is, even though you beat him for one day, it's a 72-hole tournament, so.
Right.
Doesn't really matter one round. I mean,
well,
it helps. But.
Listen, if you're lucky, it's a 72-hole tournament, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know. I think you've got to go expecting to make the cut and perform well.
And Tiger goes there expecting to win.
Yeah, exactly.
At least that's what he says.
Yeah, I'm sure it's true. That's why when he plays poorly, he finishes fourth. Not up to par.
What? Have you had an opportunity to did somebody record it that you got to go home and watch the tournament as they broadcast it? Have you seen any of it?
I haven't. I don't know if my wife taped any of it or not. I know I had a few buddies that, who came out to watch, so they had their wives, DVR a few of the days, but they probably might have been on for 30 seconds out of the whole time, and I was there in person. I don't necessarily need to see it in video as much as just remembering where I was and what I was doing in the moment. So,
yeah, well,
had I been in contention or something, it may have been a different story, but I definitely was not. So.
Well, there's the lesson that I guess that every golf instructor wants to give, and that is be in the moment. Whether you're
Absolutely.
playing tournament play or not, you're playing golf. You have to be in the moment.
Yeah, I mean, the most important shot is the one you're about to hit, or your the one that's coming up next. So if you pay attention to that, you can always kind of get by and go from there.
And my approach to that is the hardest shot in golf is the next one.
Yeah,
not necessarily the most important, but it's always the hardest.
Yeah.
Well, you're awfully nonplussed about the whole thing, even in retrospect. You're like, it was just a golf tournament. Really? Yeah. Jason, come on. You're disappointed.
Yes and no. I mean, there's a lot of neat little perks and things that go on, but it's not, it was a huge opportunity. It could be life-changing if you play well enough, or you put yourself in the right positions, or maybe you finish in the top 10 and make quite a bit of money and get into the British Open or the Masters or something. So there's a huge opportunity there, but the reality is, this week, the same place I was, 2 weeks before the tournament, and it's not going to change too much. It kind of motivates you to practice a little bit, and maybe, may go to Q school, may do a couple other things, but it's not something that changes your perspective, I don't think.
And were there any great little stories, anecdotes, tidbits, other than, like Butch Harmon and you slipping in front of Butch Harmon on your second tee shot? Do you have any other things where you had brushes with greatness that were like, wow, this is cool? You just kind of like noted that in your mind?
Maybe I think Saturday afternoon teeing off so late, it was kind of neat to say, wow, there's a bunch of these guys teeing off before I am. I kind of feel like you belong out there. And I was literally, since Phil's left-handed, I was warming up on Saturday, and his bucket of balls was basically sitting right next to mine, and he's hitting balls right next to me. So I'll hit my shot out there, and then I'll peek up after I hear, I see mine land, and I know Phil just hit one, so I'm watching what his ball's doing. And little things like that, but not necessarily. I didn't really end up playing with any of the the superstars any of the days. Obviously, the first days you're playing with the qualifiers, and then Saturday and Sunday I played with guys who happened to qualify through both stages as well. So no little things like that I can think of. Just need to shoot under par one of the rounds, little things, but no fun stories. Sorry, can't be a little more entertaining for you.
Okay, well, we'll see what we can milk out of you on this. So you kind of buried the punchline to the story, but the great news for us is that you made the cut. You made it past Friday, and you were able to play 4 rounds that weekend. Yes.
Well, I think you're trying to go play 4 rounds and playing the best you can. So if I'd only played 2, I think I would have been fairly disappointed. And I think part of that came into the golf course was set up better for my type of game, kind of slash and gouge, hit it in the rough, but you can still get it up by the greens instead of bomb and gouge. But the rough wasn't set up too difficult in that you could get the ball out and get it up close to the greens, even if you hit and did miss a fairway. And just got worse as the week went on. So when I missed some shots the first couple of days, hit it in the right spots and was able to get it up by the green and go from there. So.
And when you say it got worse as the week progressed, what does that mean?
Well, just, it's not like they've got the mowers out on Friday afternoon for U.S. Open. So the only place they've got mowers going is in the fairways and on the greens, and then they've got the rollers, on the fairways and the greens as well. So the rough gets longer, the greens just get a little bit more firm, and your misses get exaggerated just that much more.
How was the condition of the course? Because we've heard a lot of complaints.
Yeah, I think the only complaint probably for most people would be greens. And the reality is you kind of have to expect that going in playing especially the folks out in California know, and especially on the good golf courses with Poana greens late in the day with not a lot of water, they're going to get a little patchy, a little bit bumpy. But if, it's better to have the bad greens late in the day on Saturday or Sunday because it means you're playing well.
Yeah.
So I think, guys are going to complain just because that's what they do and they want perfect conditions all day long. But I don't think many of them have been superintendents and greenskeepers and things to know how difficult that kind of stuff is.
Right. Little greens. Very small greens, aren't they?
Very, very small greens. The greens are so small that half the time when you miss a green, you're just trying to find a way to get your chip shot on the green.
Oh.
So it's especially with the amount of slopes they have, because it's not like they're small and flat. They're small with quite a bit of undulation. So you miss it in the wrong spot, you miss it in a bunker, you miss it in the rough. You're not thinking, how can I get it close? How can I flop it up there or hit this shot? It's okay, if I hit it 30 feet long and left, can I keep it on this green since the green's in the front and there's more room in the back? So very small in that regard. And some of the clubs you have you have a 5-iron or a 4-iron or so, you're thinking, okay, well, if I don't hit the green, which I'm probably not going to, where do I need to be? So if you think that way, you can actually play a little bit better. But it's hard for tour pros and guys who are used to firing at every flag to change their mindset a little bit.
Mm-hmm. And what was your strategy going into Thursday, Friday? Did you have the same strategy every day?
I don't know.
Did you have a strategy at all?
Not necessarily. I think you play the golf course. You've got it charted, so you kind of know the distances you need to hit shots off the tee. I definitely the first couple of days thought, okay, I'm gonna stay as patient as I can. I don't want to, try and get myself in a position where I'm a lot over par real early. So you can't really play to the middle of the greens though, because you can play to the middle of a green and you've got a 20-foot downhill putt and you're lucky to keep it on the green. So you have to kind of play to the right spots and trust that if you do miss a shot or if if it comes off a foot short or 2 feet to the right and it's in the rough, that you trust your short game because you're in the right spot. So you just try and stay patient and tried to do that. Definitely tried to do that the first couple days. And then day 3, I think I may have changed a little bit. And then, okay, I'm 3 over par. I'm a few shots back. Let's see if we can actually play a good round. I started thinking more about, instead of thinking about the process, thinking about, okay, let's play a whole good round of golf together and see what could happen. So you're thinking too much about the end result. And you get a few over par early and you want to try and get it back instead of just accepting that you're 4 over par in the U.S. Open and you're probably not going to get too many back, but if you can stay there, it's still not a bad round. So that's probably what changed, is you focus on the end instead of focus on what you're doing in the moment. Learning experience for sure.
Absolutely. And as a golf instructor and as a teacher of kids and junior golfers, what does this experience do for you? What do you bring to your teaching now that you've said, okay, when I was in the U.S. Open in 2010?
Yeah, I've been asked that question. It depends on the student. A lot of, most of the people that play golf are recreational golfers.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to do it for fun, and the score they shoot makes it a little bit more fun or a little bit less fun, but it's still mostly for fun. And you can bring some little, you bring stories to the table, and it's neat for them to talk to you, and you may talk to them about being patient or this or that, but it doesn't bring a ton to the table. It's more with teaching competitive players and saying, okay, here's a couple shots that you really need to have in your bag for that type of situation, or here's what you're going to do when you're out competing, or what works best in difficult situations. But it's not going to bring anything to the table when you're playing, like the tour event in Las Vegas or Travelers, where you got to shoot 20 under par to win. So it's just there's two different kinds of golf, and this is one of the two. So the more you can put yourself in competitive situations and continue to play, the more you can have to help those young guys coming up.
So on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, you played 18 holes each day at Pebble Beach. You were getting used to the course. You had a little book that you take notes.
Yep.
And then Thursday morning rolls around, or I guess you were later in the day. When you first teed off.
Late.
But still, you step up to the first tee. There's grandstands filled with people, and they say, now from Highlands Ranch, Colorado, Jason Prio. And the crowd goes, who?
Well, yeah, exactly. Well, at that point, most of them have left because Tiger's group teed off about half an hour before I did. So as soon as Tiger goes, half the people go. There were probably 100 people at the first tee who were, it's the type that, okay, I'm going to sit on the first tee, I'm going to watch everybody come through, and then I'm going to be done. So, yeah, everybody's going who, but they also know that the last people in the waves are the qualifiers. So, it may be, there were 15 people there who knew who I was, and, well, maybe 10 in terms of friends and things. But
so it was probably similar to when you were competing in high school and college, and it was your mom going, "Yay, Jason!"
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Thanks, Mom.
They did get there in time. So, yeah, they, luckily there's enough people there that are oohing and on and cheering that you don't hear your mom cheering for you. So that's kind of a pleasant deal that happens. Don't have to worry as much about that. So embarrassed by mom,
Yeah, well, it's funny because my younger son, he wrestled for 4 years in high school. And after his first dual meet in high school, he came to me and he goes, look, I'm going to tell you now, and I'm going to try to be nice about this, but I do not want to hear your voice when I'm wrestling. You know nothing about this sport, and so just be quiet. So I'm like, oh, okay. So what I chose to do was videotape everything. And as long as I'm hiding behind my camera, I'm silent. It just, it enabled me to capture everything, but I kept quiet. But all through my videos, 4 years of videos, you hear my wife going, "Yay, Mikey!"
Yeah, my mom, she didn't get to do it very often this week, but every time you make a birdie, she'd kind of flap her arms or do something as I was growing up in junior golf. And, you couldn't tell her to stop because, it's just out of support and she loves you, but every time she does it, you just
roll your eyes,
shake your head. Yeah.
Oh, Mom, please.
Yeah, she got me once. I birdied 18 and then was walking to number 1 the second day, and she kind of snuck behind the grandstands and did that, and I just kind of roll your eyes, shake your head. And, okay.
Yeah, but nobody knew who she was. I mean, that was just a little moment
to
you.
Yeah, they did. Yeah,
she's wearing T-shirts.
Yeah, no, anybody who's following our group probably knows my life story. So, luckily, there weren't that many people. So.
Well, maybe that's another podcast. So, were there any times during those 4 days that you either did, "Oh my God, look where I am," or there were jitters? There was a moment of nerves for you.
It's hard to believe probably for a lot of people. I've never really gotten nervous on the golf course the last, the whole time I've been playing golf professionally. And the only thing I've had, my heart was beating a little bit faster on the first tee box, and I could tell. But in terms of, a lot of people get the shakes or they get a lot of anxiety or, they can't breathe, that kind of stuff. Nope. I mean, you always have those shots that cause more anxiety any golf course you play, whether it's just a tougher tee shot when you're playing with your buddies for $5 or the U.S. Open. So there's shots there that bring anxiety, but there wasn't the nerves in there. I think when I had gotten it I was 2 under par and had a birdie putt to get to 3 under par for the second round, I was like, well, okay, I'm, really playing well in the Open here. This is kind of neat to do. And lit that one out and bogeyed number 2 and parred in from there. But it still was neat to finish under par that second day. I had a couple good up and downs the last couple holes. That was probably the neatest thing, to actually shoot under par one of the rounds. But it didn't seem like it was the hardest thing I had ever done, or seemed like, it was possible to do that. It wasn't 1 under par is an amazing round of golf. So.
Well, and it enables you to play on Saturday and Sunday.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, I bogeyed the last 2 holes of my round late in the day on Thursday, and just the greens and everything had changed so much that I bogeyed 17, which wasn't too big a deal. I missed about a 7-foot putt straight up the hill. Then on 18, I had a chance to go for it, and the pin was right over the bunker, and I thought, no, I'm just going to lay it up because this green has been, actually spinning back all week. And I kind of hit a wedge shot and landed about 10 feet past the green and bounced 6 times and was on the back edge, and I 3-putted. So I felt like I'd actually played pretty well the first day and was expecting to play better the second round. So there's always that, oh, man, okay, 75, shoot, I could blow up and miss the cut. But I really, after I shot 75 the first round, it felt like I had played even better than that. I thought, okay, this isn't, I should be able to control myself and play a good round of golf and be able to play on the weekend.
The way I discovered you, this is an outrageous story. I get an email from the Northern California Golf Association, the NCGA, which I'm a member, and they say, okay, now, and they're kind of the hosts of the U.S. Open this year because it is part of Northern California, and they have we are auctioning off the scorecards that are kept in the press box, the official scorecards for each player. Would you like to auction on those? Take a bid on those. Gotcha. And so I'm thinking to myself, starting bid's $20. And I'm thinking to myself, well, there's no way that I'm going to get into a bidding war for Graham McDowell or Tiger or Phil or any of those big names. And I'm thinking, now who would be interesting to have? And I'm looking down the names and they're like, yeah, so what, right? No big names. Yeah. So then I got an idea. Who came in last, right? Yeah. So I scroll all the way down to the bottom and there are two guys tied for last after the 4 rounds. And one of them is Jay Prio. So I'm like, okay, Jay Prio, have no idea. So I go to PGA.com and I type in Jason Prio. Nothing comes up. Nothing. Yep. You're not there. No, so now I'm really intrigued. And so now I own the scorecard for Jason Prio. It just arrived in the mail today. And,
nice. So is it the actual official scorecards or is it like the hole-by-hole score that they do on the scoreboard?
The hole-by-hole score on the scoreboard.
Oh, okay, good. So you got the 8s on there.
Yeah, black and red numbers. So, I've been reviewing your scorecard. You shot a 75 on Thursday, a 70 on Friday. Then you came back with an 82 on Saturday and an 84 on Sunday. And you, over those 4 rounds, you had 2 holes where you had an 8.
Yes.
And
number 8 and number 18.
Number 8 on Saturday, and interestingly enough, you parred the hole every day except for that day.
Yes.
What happened?
I hate to blame it on this, but I actually hit a really good second shot, and I made solid contact with it, and the wind switched a little bit. So I hit 7-iron in, and it landed just over the green and bounced into the back bunker. And I think if the wind not switched a little bit, it probably would have ended up pretty good. But it bounced into the back bunker. I tried to get a little too cute with my wedge shot, with my bunker shot, and left it just in the rough above the green still. And then basically proceeded to nub a couple shots about an inch each and chipped one down and 2-putted. So
and Dustin Johnson did that on the second hole on Sunday. He had that.
Yeah, it's hard because there's shots out there where you try and sometimes okay, I shouldn't be cute with this. I just need to get it on the green and have it trickle down and give myself a 10-footer. And if I make it, great. If not, I get out of here and I'm done. But there's shots where you have to be so cute with it that the only way to keep it on the green is to really kind of take a chance and barely get one onto the green or do this or do that. And if you screw it up, which I did a couple times, well, you're sitting in the same spot trying to do it again. So.
Yeah. And then, interestingly enough, the only other 8 that you had on your scorecard for the 4 days was your very last hole.
Very last hole, yep.
And what happened there? It was a par 5.
Par 5, I hit it.
Did you just lose steam? What happened? You lose interest? What was the point there?
Well, a little bit, yeah. I hit it in a position where I'm trying to remember what happened. Oh, I hit it right behind actually a good drive in the fairway, but just basically right behind the tree to the point where I could only make like a half swing. So I chipped it down the fairway. I had an 8-iron in and hit an awful 8-iron shot that kind of flared up into the wind, plugged right down in the bunker. Oh. Then I wedged it out onto the green. Actually hit a decent shot onto the green, and the pin I was in the back left part of the green if you're facing the hole. The pin was down on that front right or front left, and I hit it, and I hit it probably 3 feet too far, and actually caught the tier and rolled off the green down on the front, and putted one up, missed that one, and walked off with an 8 and gave a little wave and said, "We'll see you later."
And thank you very much as you walk into the sunset, literally into the sunset at that point.
Exactly.
There are 3 holes, interestingly enough, that you had the same score every day. Not number 1, number 4, And this is the one I find absolutely fascinating. And to me, it's a shame that we've spent 32 minutes talking already and we haven't gotten here. But you
Number
parred
14.
number 14 every day. The one hole that the greatest players of our time just could not tackle.
Gotcha. Well, the only reason I parred all 4 days is because I missed about a 6-footer the first day for birdie. It's, I don't know. I guess you just have a different mindset. Just because it's a par 5, it's everybody's talking about it being a difficult hole. You just have to play to the right spots and go from there. Interestingly enough, I had a buddy who came and stayed with me a couple days ago before he was going out to play a few mini tour events, and he said, "Shoot, I watched your buddy on 14. It's not that hard of a hole. He hit it off hit a tee shot, hit the tree, hit it about 75 yards off the tee, and still made par. So it's not too bad. But the key was when you laid it up, you needed to lay up to a full shot, and you needed to be as far left as you possibly could. Hopefully in the fairway would be ideal, but left rough was much better than probably even the right edge of the fairway to the right rough, because that the green slopes so much right to left on the top as well, and then the right side slopes right to left, or down and to the right. So if you came in at an angle, the ball was landing on a downslope and it would just scoot forward. So the further left you could be, you could get it up there on the green. You had a little bigger square to work with, and if you missed, you just had to miss long. There was no option. It was miss long, and you can get it up and down, miss left or miss right, and you're just trying to make bogey somehow. You're trying to get the ball on the green. So knowing where to miss it.
Yeah, is it important for the U.S. Open to have a hole that is that complicated for everybody to play? Or, it just seemed like hell out there. You're on top of a volcano. Do you think that they'll make changes in the future to that hole?
No, I don't know. I mean, you make par on it, so you don't think it's that big of a deal. But I don't think it was as difficult as guys are saying. These are the best players in the world, and one of the hardest golf tournaments in the world, and they want to test you. So when you have a sand wedge or a pitching wedge in your hand, you should be able to hit it into, and get it to stop on a green. If it needs to be a small spot, that's fine. It's a small spot. You know what you have to do. I think where it gets difficult is the guys have so much confidence, and they're so not used to just kind of playing for bogey or playing it safe around the greens that they'd get up there after they miss that green and they'd say, I'm going to hit this flop shot out of U.S. Open rough, and I've got a foot of space to land it in, and if I don't land it there, it's either back at my feet or it's on the other side. Instead of you take your medicine if you missed it left, and you just kind of bumped it into the hill up against that back bunker, or I guess it would be the front bunker, and have it trickle back down on the green, and you have anywhere from 5 to 25 feet for par, and if you miss, you make a bogey and you're done. And it wasn't that hard of a shot. I practice it every single day, figuring I'm not good enough to hit this green. I'm going to hit one over here, and just being ready to play that shot and get out with your bogey. And if you missed it right, you're just trying to hit it on the back edge of the green and two-putt from there. But those guys, they want to get tricky with stuff. They want to hit a low spinning shot, or they want to hit a flop shot, or do this or do that, and get it up there to a foot. And they make a lot of 10-footers. So if you can leave yourself that 10-footer and know, worst case, I make a bogey and I'm out of here, that's probably the better way to play it. So just test them a little bit.
Yeah. Well, congratulations for making it all the way through. That's really awesome. Can I ask a favor?
Well, thank you. Yes.
Can I have your autograph?
Yeah, well, it's going to be hard for you to get it. You may have to come out. Unless you want to mail something, I can mail you off something. But
okay, here's
the last one I ever signed, maybe.
All right, that makes it even more valuable, because here's what I'm going to do.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm going to send you this card. I'm going to if you could sign this card
for me.
How much
did it cost you? How much did it cost you, by the way?
With shipping, it was $38.
Okay, I think the only reason it was that much is because my wife probably tried to outbid you and said no.
Well, then wait a minute. If I send it, I may never see it again.
You'll get it back. I don't want to see the 8s.
They're there. Sorry.
Yeah. No, I know it.
But no, what I would love for you to do is sign it to Golf Smarter, and then maybe I'll give it away on the show. I'll give it to an audience member, but I just think it's so cool to have one of these. I'm a little disappointed because the way they build it is that it said that it had the logo for the U.S. Open on it, and it doesn't. It just says USGA logo on it. So I was like, oh, it doesn't say that it's the U.S. Open. I mean, it just says Prio Jason, Highlands Ranch, Colorado, and your scores, but it doesn't really say that it's the. Well, we know it was the U.S. Open.
Yes, especially if we see the scores.
Yeah.
I can write on there to Golf Smarter. I promise these were my scores from the U.S. Open.
Okay.
Go from there.
2010 U.S. Open. We got to date it.
Yep.
Pebble Beach.
Yep.
Awesome.
I don't know who's going to want it, but good luck trying to give it away.
Well, I do.
Okay, there you go.
Jason, thank you so much. Again, congratulations. Thanks for sharing your story. And I apologize. I would like to have you back on the show again because you are a golf instructor and you work at the McKettrick.
Yeah, we've actually changed our names. It's called Meta Golf Learning Center now.
Okay, you're at the Meta Golf Learning Center at Broken T in Englewood.
Yep.
Englewood, Colorado.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so I would love to have you come back on and get some advice and insights and tips from you on actually what we need to do is talk about high school players and getting kids prepared for college golf. I get a lot of questions all the time is like, my kid plays, should he play high school golf or should he play junior golf? And then what about getting him to a college level? What do we do to prepare for that? So I would love to have that conversation. Can we do that at another time?
Absolutely. Happy to help.
Awesome. Very, very good. If
you've got anybody willing to listen.
Well, there are people who are listening, and they really appreciate you coming on the show. And I really appreciate you coming on. And especially under these circumstances with a brand new baby arriving at the house today, congratulations to your wife and your family, and tell her, even though I'm sending this, she cannot have it.
Don't worry. I'll be sure to send it back. She'll be happy she didn't get scammed out of $30 for a few numbers. So
you can take it to Kinko's and run copies of it.
Oh yeah, there you go. Even better.
Thanks so much, Jason.
Perfect. Thanks, Fred. Appreciate it.